Rwanda ranks 63rd on the World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness Report for 2012 and 2013. It's moved up 7 places since last year and is viewed as the most competitive economy in South Africa. A small economy, but competitive. Very good news. Alicia Seckham caught up with Rwandan President Paul Kagame for more on Rwanda's growth story. Here's that chat.
Well, what we bring to Davos is to share the fact that things can happen anywhere, even in Rwanda, a small country in the heart of Africa with a tragic history where people have been trying to rebuild their lives and rebuild their country, and we are on the move, registering growth. We've realized growth of 8% in the last close to 10 years, every year, average 8%. And what the story you've just told about doing business, how we are ranked, competitiveness, and so on and so forth, globally and on our continent of Africa, it's something of a kind of a story that says if Rwanda can do it, others can do it.
Where Rwanda is characterized by a capacity for innovation, what does the theme resilient dynamism mean to you?
Well, it means a lot. It means once people are committed to improving their lives and give all they can to achieve it, they will achieve it. And we've seen it not only with the individual leaders, we've seen it in a society. The Rwandan society has been doing the best they can, and with the leaders, we've been making very huge strides in improving our lives.
Mm-hmm. While Rwanda has made significant stride, there are hurdles to consider. We've got the economy limited by its market size, higher education and training, and its improvement in those quarters that are required for the country to actually continue its climb up the ranks. What are some of the specific things you're doing to improve your status in these respects?
When it comes to limited size of our economy, integration becomes one of the things that makes sense. And we are looking to East African community, 5 countries coming together, a population of 130 million people. And Rwanda contributes to that and benefits from that as well. That addresses the issue of, so integration is really one way to go. The other aspect is size can be improved if it is a small size, but also the quality of what you have to offer. And in fact, you've alluded to some of the things. We've invested heavily in education, in the health of our people. We've made sure that our people, as the number one asset, are the main focus of our investment and development. Once you have high quality and skilled people who will play their part in the labor market and do it efficiently, and this attracts other investments, and people look to Rwanda and to work with Rwandans. And in that we achieve, for example, making, say, Rwanda a hub for a number of activities, services, IT-based activities, and therefore we have had to make the kinds of investments in these areas of infrastructure.
Absolutely. I mean, what it also does and serves regional integration is as a platform to promote intra-African trade. We've seen intra-African trade having reached a peak of 12% of Africa's total trade in the 80s and 90s. That was sitting at, between 2 and 5%. We're still far below the levels of intra-regional trade in Latin America or Asia, where that sits at 25 to 50%. Where do you see things headed in that regard?
You see, it's very exciting. Much as we are still at this low level, it also awakens us to the fact that there is a huge potential to be exploited ahead. So making sure that we increase intra-African trade and investment is the way to go. So we still have a huge potential ahead of us to exploit, and therefore this is, so what is a challenge in the first place becomes an opportunity in the second place.
To leverage off that opportunity though, Mr. President, you need political energy. How do you rate the political energy of the regional leaders?
Well, I think there is a lot of dynamism, there is a lot of political thinking, there is a lot of soul-searching. Everybody, every citizen, every leader, every country want to transform their society, and therefore we've been busy exchanging the best practices and making sure that we work together. There is a lot of synergy coming and developing in that. So I think, and Africa is not just working alone among the different countries and people of the continent. We also work with the rest of the world. And a lot has been coming in that is going to enable us to be able to move forward.
Clearly, we've had Rwanda taking the right steps so far. Third-ranked economy in Africa, not too far off that #1 spot. You've got to be targeting that #1 spot. Just how close a reality is that in your books?
It is as close as just making 2 other steps and you are there. And we certainly think about it. We want to make it. We want to be the best we can be. And we have already proved that a number of things can happen, almost, going every year, going ahead 10 steps, then 15, then another time. This is something that, tells us that the sky is the limit.
Where we have so many African countries still struggling to get it right and so fraught by the perception of risk, investment risk, what's your advice to them, having learned from your lessons so far?
I can assure everyone that learning from Rwanda's example and where we have come from, we just need to work hard and commit ourselves to doing the right things, and we will be there. All of us can be there, including them, everyone.
Your view on the investment landscape that is Africa?
Oh, the landscape is extensive. It has broad opportunities, and it's just for us to go there and pick what we want.